My name's Chris.
I'm Spivey.
I'm Ziggy.
This is after the dust settles.
Ooh.
This is the video portion where we're all awkward because we're not used to being in front of a video camera as opposed to just microphones.
You're the only one who doesn't stream. I'm pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speak for yourself. All I do when I get nervous on camera is start doing things like, what I was doing a second ago.
We just singled Chris out, and now he's going to be even more awkward. We didn't mean to. He was using that as a defense mechanism.
Sorry.
That was my harsh exoskeleton is my... So...
Why are we doing this?
Because we got nerfs to talk about.
Eee.
You know, like some big ones. Let me bring them up.
Okay. You're on the Wi-Fi, right? You need the password again?
I'm on the Wi-Fi.
He just really wants to tell you the password.
I'm sure he does. So, Hearth, Stone, nerfs.
Yeah, so the Ben Brode teased that we were going to be getting changes. He said, thanks for your thoughts on Druid, and we're going to be revealing or releasing our details soon, so it was the soon TM. And, well, today the Play Hearthstone account revealed these changes with an article.
Yep, I don't have that one up. I've got a separate one, but
That's
it's
fine.
the same just things.
Yeah.
So this is interesting that I didn't really think about. 4 of the 5 balance changed cards have been in the game since launch.
Yep.
That's what's so crazy to me, is like, I'm thinking, okay, changes, yeah, no problem. And then the changes happen, and I'm like, whoa, changes to things I'm really, really used to.
Like Innervate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to bring that one up first.
Well, it's the first one I brought up.
Yeah, so before it was 1 mana.
0 mana.
I'm sorry, yeah, 0 mana, 2 mana crystals, which doesn't translate into into what's the card that living mana.
Wouldn't it be funny if it did now? Like they just didn't say anything, but it's like you just get an extra one now.
I'm gonna text Tuna that because he's not gonna watch this, so I'm gonna text Tuna and I'm gonna be like, dude, did you hear like Innervate lets you get an extra guy for living mana now, and let him try it.
See, Tuna from a year ago would probably just believe you, but you and I now at this point, he'd be like, "Where's the other one?"
He won't. You know what? He'll try it, and he won't say anything to us.
So a reminder, this is speculation, this is hypothetical, this is for fun, this is not factual information.
So yeah, Innervate. 0 mana gives you 2 mana crystals this turn only. Then you can play your Pink Dinosaur on turn 1 and win.
Yep. Or your Ultimate Infestation on turn 8.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm a huge fan of doing Nourish on 3
Yeah.
and gaining 2 mana crystals.
That's probably my favorite use of Innervate, honestly, is if I'm not playing an Aviana deck and I want to, drop 2 dudes after Aviana, then it's definitely Innervate into Nourish on turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, however, it only gives you a single mana crystal.
Wah, wah.
Captain Woodrow said he wished that they had made Innervate 1 mana, just in the lulz. So it would have been the exact same outcome. It would have given you 1 mana. Although it being 0 is still relevant for, like, Auctioneer or whatever.
Yep.
I seriously think there's a good chance that people would have freaked out a little less if they made it 1 mana. I think, there's just something about this particular change that made people like, there's already a coin!
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
That's how I feel. Now we've got the coin.
So, yeah, you just stop running Innervate and you start running Counterfeit Coin just to really rub it into Blizzard how they did you wrong.
Yep. This change is actually huge. How many? You said 5 cards, right? So the fact that Blizzard's doing 5 cards all at once really blew me away when I saw this morning. It's not just 1. It's not just 2. It's 5. And I expected Innervate to be on the chopping block. I would have been a little surprised to see cards get moved to the Hall of Fame in the middle of the season, in the middle of the year, because that would set a new precedent for Blizzard, and I was really worried about that.
Yeah.
I would rather Blizzard keep their stance on, cool, new year, these cards are way overplayed, or they're archetype defining, and we'd like to see some more creativity, so they can go to the Hall of Fame. That being said, 0 mana, gain 1 mana crystal this turn. I don't think I want to play that over another real threat for Druid. I don't think playing Ultimate Infestation on 9 is worth it over being able to just play a dude on 9.
Kind of like what they did to Call the Wild in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, because back in the day, I didn't even really in the very, very beginning, I did not really understand Innervate, and people had to explain to me, like, no, this is an auto-include, like, you need this. And I'm talking years ago, but by the time I got it and got so used to it, yeah, it was just an auto-include because there were so many possibilities with it. And now I don't think the possibilities are really worth it. And there are very few situations I can think of in which they're worth it.
Your phrase auto-include really speaks to me, because if you remember, that was the big reason why they Hall of Famed Azure Drake, is because it was an auto-include.
In every deck.
So I wonder if it's less... I mean, it's kind of 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. If a card's good enough to be an auto-include, it's kind of definitely up for that topic. But I wonder if it's as much because of it, Druid being the issue that it is in the metagame, as well as, like, well, if we do this to it, we might encourage some more deck ideas and creativity and things like that in that way. But
I mean, now you really do have to think about it, I think. Now it's not so much, oh yeah, this could definitely be beneficial to me. I think now I would have to give it some serious thought to be like, this is definitely going to be beneficial to my ramp deck or my token deck or whatever it is. And I think that's good. I respect the change for that reason, because it's not useless, but it's also going to require a little more strategy and thinking about it before I include it in a deck.
I don't think it sees play in any other deck other than the aggressive lists.
might not even there. You're going to have to take a serious look at if you could maybe put another pair of threats in on curve.
Well, so with Aggro Druid as it stands in Standard right now, and Egg Druid as it stands in Wild, both of which I've been playing a lot of because I need my Golden Druid, which unfortunately I'm only...
2 weeks. You got 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, you think it's going to be 2 weeks?
Everyone seems to say it's after the HCT Open.
Okay.
Now,
2 weeks seems like a long time.
on the one hand, I get that, because it's like, well, the pros, but on the other hand, it's like, the pros might be the ones complaining, but the pros are the pros. And it's the people who are spending their money on this game. So I would almost be I wouldn't be surprised if they change it tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Well, so like I think that you still want to have the tempo gain you get from playing Innervate in an aggro list for Druid is unbeatable, because it lets you play 2 1/1s on turn 1 if you don't have the coin. If you do have the coin, that's 3 1/1s, or with coin you get to play Pink Dinosaur still. Like, I think that's still a thing. I don't see it seeing play outside of that. I don't think that playing a turn 4 Nourish is as powerful, because you've got Jade Spirit on that curve. You have Swipe. Double Wrath might even just be better. Like I said, playing a turn 7 Primordial Drake or a turn 9 Ultimate Infestation. And
That was good.
yeah, I don't know. And speaking of UI, like, I'm not surprised they didn't fuck with that.
It's too soon.
I can drop the F-bombs on this one.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Ultimate Infestation just came out, and a lot of people are like really surprised that they didn't go after Ultimate Infestation. And I don't think
I'm not. We discussed it
that card's
before.
fine.
It's the and that's to my mind, I would almost have been more concerned if they would have went after Ultimate Infestation, because then they're just looking at what people bitch about. But going after Innervate shows the understanding that they do have of the game that they've created, and we want to look at what might be causing some of the root issues of this sort of thing. You know, it's like any other change they did, Spirit Claws or Doomhammer.
Yep.
It's not the card that you think as a player, but it's the card that they, as the creator, know is what's causing the larger issue.
My stance is always, I trust Blizzard implicitly. And I know a lot of people, like, I went out on Twitter today, and after reading the comments to Play Hearthstone's account after they released that article, that link, like, they were atrocious. And I've never been really compelled to, like, discuss that straight up before, but, like, it's bad. The way people are talking to Blizzard and Play Hearthstone, I mean, like, I think no one dares talk to Ben Brode that way, which is funny. Like, if Ben Brode put that link out, no one is going to react the way they did to Play Hearthstone.
They'll rip you in half.
And I just wanted to get up on my pedestal at the moment and just be like, stop. Like, these people have this game, and they love this game as much as you do, and you may not necessarily agree with what's going on because you can't see the big picture yet, but Blizzard can. And they've been working on this game, and they're an entire year ahead of us, or a set and a half or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Like, It's fine. Like, there's no reason to spew hate at a company for the game that you love because they changed something.
And the people who seem
Just
to
be
do
decent.
that, yeah, they really seem to be the people who are already disgruntled anyway with various things over time, and it usually comes back to, I pay money for this
They're
game.
so fucking toxic.
No one's forcing you to pay money for this game. Can we just say that? Like, no one's
Yep.
forcing you to spend money
It's free
on
to play.
Hearthstone. It's a free-to-play game, and you can go on and on as long as you want about it. But at the end of the day, like, you spewing hatred is not doing anyone any good.
I just think you're an entitled fuck.
Yep.
What he said.
And you know, if you're one of the people that's doing that, then, you know, congratulations, because you're driving people away from the game because of the negative impact you're having on the community. And I can say that with 100% certainty
Because we left Magic.
because you fuckers are the exact reason why I left Magic the Gathering. And I know the arguments from some of the Magic the Gathering people I follow on Twitter are, well, you know, you're missing out. And it's like, no.
Nope.
And, well, you know, you should try and make it a better... No.
And I love that you love Magic, but it's not for me anymore.
Nope.
You're always welcome to be a part of the 1600 community. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, and so, you know, there's an aspect of anger and frustration at what it is you're saying, but also it's from a place of being a member of the community as well. It's like, just back the fuck off.
I love being able to
And-
drop F-bombs on
Yeah, no kidding. Because we do it a lot in real life.
Really?
Yeah. Quit being an entitled piece of shit and
enjoy the game.
Yeah, this is a great game. Blizzard puts a ton of work into it. Blizzard listens, okay?
yeah.
Like, can we just put that out there that Blizzard actually listens to the complaints that the community has and the suggestions that the community has, and they answer them. They don't just leave us out there hanging, like, and never, you know, address these things. So I don't understand the toxicity. I don't understand why people feel it's necessary to just continue to complain. Okay, if you don't like it, like, at this point, I think we've come far enough that if you don't like it, you're never gonna like it.
Soulforge.
So stop ruining it for other people. Okay,
But
thanks.
at the very least, you'll get Dust refund for 2 of the cards.
Yeah, for 2 of the cards.
And I suppose
That's how they're getting you.
I suppose that the segue would be to move right into one of the ones that you're going to get the Dust reimbursement for, which is Spreading Plague.
That's not the one that was
That's
on
not.
next.
Yeah.
Dice the Frozen Throne, Spreading Plague.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that one's being changed?
What?
Ooh, this is fun.
Ooh.
So read Spreading Plague.
Spring Plague, when played, it summons a 1 attack, 5 health minion with taunt, and then proceeds to cast a spell until you have an equal. I'm just reading off it. I know you know this. In practice, it had been a plague. So Spreading Plague was a 5 mana cost spell, but following patch 9.1, it will cost 6 mana.
Okay, no, I did not know this, and it's funny because we were just talking about Ultimate Infestation, and when you and I had talked about it before, I had said, no, I don't think they're going to touch Ultimate Infestation. I said, but I do think there's a chance they're going to touch Spreading Plague.
And it says Blizzard considered raising it to 7, but they figured that was too harsh given what they did to Innervate.
Raising it to 6 means that unless you have a coin or an Innervate, you cannot play Spreading Plague, Fandral, Jade Idol.
We are gonna start seeing Auctioneer. We're gonna start seeing that back in Jade. It's too good now.
Maybe.
Coin, counterfeit coin, Innervate.
I mean, I'm not surprised to see the Spreading Plague nerf. I love that you haven't heard of this.
No, I didn't. I was at work all day, and I looked at the original announcement, but was that in the original announcement?
Yes.
I missed it. I totally missed it. Maybe I just saw Innervate and, Murloc War Leader, and my brain went...
Maybe your brain
That could
just blocked traumatic
my brain was like,
information.
cannot handle anymore, shutting down.
Now, what's funny to me about that is right in that very next sentence, Blizzard said that they felt that with what they changed to Innervate, that it was too much. So it's like, so they're not just doing stuff willy-nilly.
No.
And Blizzard said that of all the Druid cards, the one that was seeing the most play and subject to the most abuse wasn't Ultimate Infestation, it was Spreading Plague.
Ultimate Infestation just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel good to
You
have
lose,
it against
right?
you,
You
but-
lose to that, or I had my game last night where it's like I looked at you and I was like, "Hey, so he's played 2 Ultimate Infestations. Guess how many I've played?" Because I couldn't draw them, and I couldn't come back from that. And I think because it's such a high-end spell, just like Pyroblast, how bad does it feel to lose to Pyroblast? the worst,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, obviously Ultimate Infestation generates a whole bunch of other card advantage in addition to it, but a lot of times you just lose on the spot to Ultimate Infestation.
I'm going to argue that Power Blast doesn't feel as bad, because Power Blast is going to happen on turn 8 if they Primordial Glyph it, or it's going to happen on turn 10. And if you've gone up against a mage that's kept you alive for that long and has done freezing effects and things of that nature, you can reasonably expect it's coming. What sucks is when you were getting an Ultimate Infestation against you on turn 5 or turn 6.
So what if we compare it more to Bloodlust? Like, that's a very similar ballpark, because, like, the Druid is ramping and ramping and ramping.
Yep.
So, I mean, effectively, it's a turn 6
I can see that.
infestation.
I think the difference with Bloodlust and why I don't mind losing... See, whenever someone Bloodlusts me and I lose to it, I'm like, well, okay, that's going to happen. And I think a lot of that's because inherently in the decks that run it right now, it's like, well, shit, I didn't get my Maelstrom Portal to wipe
You had a
before,
chance to
or
stop
I didn't
it.
get my Dragonfire Potion, or I didn't get my Flame Strike, or things like that. Whereas this is just like 1, 2, 3 swing.
Yeah.
And then literally everything's done.
Yeah.
To be fair, a nerf to Innervate is a nerf to Ultimate Infestation.
True.
Yeah.
So
I cast many 8 Ultimate Infestations turn 8.
yeah, I think that's probably when it feels the worst, because there's even more chance at that point that you don't have too many cards in your hand, you know, to want to play it or whatever. There's a lot more chance at turn 8 that you're feeling pretty good. Plus, you're throwing out the Innervate. That throws out one of the cards in your hand. So without that being an option, or likely not being an option, because I really don't think people are running Innervate.
Druids are going to be hoping for the coin every turn. I want to go second, I want to go second, I want to say yes!
Well, so here's the thing, right? So we've got Spreading Plague at 6 now, which they knock it up 1 mana. That makes it harder to deal with aggro decks because you may have just lost up by turn 6. Like when I play Pirate Warrior or something really aggressive, they've won on turn 6. Like I've got turn 4 wins, I've got turn 5 wins. So they nerf the Spreading Plague to 6, and it's going to make the aggro decks just crush Druid, right? Like Pirate Warrior is going to be really good, and Murloc Paladin is going to be really
You
good.
keep coming up with all these segues.
Yeah,
But there's still a point that I want to make about all this in general before we move on to the next one, and that is by moving Spreading Plague to 6. If you're still going to run it, I'm not the most proficient Druid player, but what else are you playing at 6?
Right, and that's why I think I'm having a good time. Like I'm okay with it, and I'm accepting it because I'm realizing that it makes sense. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think
It's fine.
So,
it fits.
So in that case, it fits really well under the curve. But then we talk about something like Fiery War Axe to hit that segue, which went from 2 mana to 3 mana.
That was so far out of left field. I'm not...
That was the one that hurt me the most.
Dude, that one is... Yeah, I agree. Well, actually, the other one hurt me more.
This was the one that hurt me the most, but I'm more of an aggro player. And then you start to think, what else do I play in Pirate Warrior 3? I play South Sea Captain.
Even without that, like... Okay, so do you want to touch on Pirates? But I also want you to touch on, like, Control.
Yeah, let's touch on Pirates first, because you raise a good point. And so it's... Talk about structurally changing the makeup of what a deck is. Everything in Pirate Warrior... Pirate Warrior is the car that you tore down to make it like a drag racer. There's nothing on it that is any form of fat or excessive.
Sleek, light, efficient.
You've ripped everything out of it you possibly can, and now you're telling me that I have to put something somewhere else.
Yep.
And so, fundamentally, what do I do?
I'm curious to find out whether or not in playtesting how much of an impact it has, because there's a lot of times I played N'Zoth's first mate, and then I had Fiery War Axe on turn 2, and I'm kind of like, fuck, I still can get 2 more damage out of this, 3 more damage.
Bad.
Yeah, so like it does kind of it mitigates that feel bad, so it allows you to get a couple swings in with N'Zoth's first mate, like that Rusty Hook or
Much
whatever.
higher precedent on the priority on the Rusty Hook.
Then you get to go 3 on Fiery War Axe, second swing Fiery War Axe on 4, and then an Arcanite Reaper. So Blizzard, I didn't think about this until now, which is great that we're doing this. Like Blizzard has given you a weapon curve.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, I mean that's assuming no upgrades, which is a card that I was sure was going to be touched, but it wasn't.
But now you can't. Now you can't. War Axe on 2, South Sea Captain on 3.
Mm-hmm. With your board of 1/1s like Patches and
and
N'Zoths
then the deckhand on 4 that gives you a weapon 1/1.
Yep.
And all of a sudden,
Naga
Deckhand,
Corsair.
yeah, Naga Corsair too. And all of a sudden, all these guys, all these creatures that buff your weapon are a turn later because your weapon's a turn later at that point.
Yeah.
So
It's a fucking eagle horn bow.
It is. It's a worse
It's
eagle
a
horn bow.
worse eagle horn
It's a
bow.
worse eagle horn bow. It's a worse rallying blade.
What about the Knight's Defender? Do you see that? It's like there's literally zero reason to not run Knight's Defender in place of Fiery War Axe now because like you might just get the random taunt bonus.
But I mean, that's just it. Auto include. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But one other unintended side effect is, yeah, I'm gonna really that N'Zoth's first mate. I'm gonna really hold on to that Rusty Hook. I'm probably gonna start upgrading that Rusty Hook, which means I'm not gonna be upgrading my Arcanite Reaper.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it hits Control Warrior the hardest. Control Warrior was already struggling. Whether we're talking about Fibonacci's Control Warrior, we're talking about Quest Warrior, but not being able to start controlling the board on 2 is rough.
Yeah.
I don't want to just hear a power pass. So I don't. My faith in Blizzard extends to, I'm hoping that we're going to see something in the future. It does make sense to mess with a basic card in this regard because it opens up the creativity for them and another card that we'll get to. But I'm not happy about it.
To echo that though too.
I'm glad I got my Golden Warrior already.
I was watching the HCT last weekend, and they were talking about the people that were bringing Taunt Warrior. Is that the curve for Taunt Warrior has gone down considerably because you have to get that hero power change as soon. You have to fix that quest as soon as you possibly can. And what's funny is I saw that in action even before then because Joelle actually pulled the Warrior quest from one of her random packs, so she was building Taunt Warrior. There's a bunch of like 0 mana, 1 mana, 2 mana taunt guys. But son of a bitch, she's getting that taunt. She's getting that quest so quick.
Yeah.
She played that against me, and I was like, "Oh, Quest Warrior, okay." And then like I turned away from the computer for a minute, and I turned back, and I was like, "Oh, she's 1 minion away from fulfilling
Already
that
throwing
quest."
fireballs on turn 3.
I was like, "Oh."
Well, I guess turn 4 or 5.
It was real quick.
So it feels like this funny give and take of we're speeding up the control deck. For all this talk about how we want to slow the game down, it sure feels like we're speeding up our control decks.
Yeah. I don't know.
It'll be a fun one to see. And I'm with you. I agree that I have every faith that they know what they're doing. They haven't let us down yet. Even if they did let us down with something, I mean, you're bound to whiff once in a while. And it's not like they can't just go, flip that switch back. It's a digital card game.
I feel
Sure.
like if they were going to nerf something like that that's been in the game as long as it has, that it's probably been a while coming and they've given it some good thought. So
That's what I wonder. We were talking about historically when they do nerfs and balance changes and stuff. I wonder if it wasn't done earlier because of all the things. Like this was stuff that they had already.
sure.
Probably have. He's worried I'm shaking the table.
I wanted to do it subtly.
Oh, who cares? There's nothing subtle about this. So I'll bet a lot of these were changes that they're like, okay, once 2018 rolls around, we're gonna have to look at addressing some of these. But it's like, okay, obviously people are really having issues with this now, so we're gonna roll it out a bit sooner.
Well, yeah.
Which is why some of them took us by as big of a surprise as we did, because it's like we're not just gonna change one. If we're gonna do these, let's roll out everything we were thinking of.
You're accidentally or on purpose, like, segueing right into the next one.
Which is Murloc War Leader.
I thought it was the one you had highlighted on your phone.
That works
before
too, Hex.
Yep.
Oh, I
Out
forgot
of-
about that already. Oh, wow, yeah.
Which one do you want to do first?
Oh,
Okay, let's
Either
go with
one,
Hex.
they're
He's very
equal.
emotional about it.
Yeah,
Fine.
so and this was the card that most of all made me kind of think of that, because why would you change this? I mean, obviously they're telling people, hey, we got ideas, don't worry about it, and then as it just gets more and more oppressive, okay, we're gonna have to roll these out sooner. But we made changes to this handful of cards to work in tandem with one another, so we can't just change the one. We're gonna have to make all of them. So Hex basically now costs what a polymorph costs.
Yeah, it's a polymorph. It's a 0-1 taunt polymorph.
Yeah.
And this one really took me by surprise too, although I don't hate it as much because getting Hex feels fucking bad.
I don't hate it, But I think it really did surprise me because I feel like it was one of those cards that people had just finally come to terms with as, yeah, that sucks.
Yep.
But, like, it had gotten to the point where people had learned to anticipate it enough that when it happened, you didn't get mad anymore. You were like, I deserve that.
X, yeah.
Or I should have expected that. And
Walk
now
right
it feels
into
like it being 4 mana is just a whole different ballgame.
I always try to think of it in terms of like remember you mentioned spreading plague and then being 7 versus 6. So having Hex at 4 means you can't Hex and Blazecaller anymore unless you've got a coin.
Mm-hmm.
That means you absolutely cannot Hex and Alakir. It makes it probably ensures that you can't Hex and Bloodlust, but that seems really weak because no token decks right now are running Hex. But like that's just the kind of stuff I think about. Is like how does that impact like the overall curve? Like what can you do in the same turn? I think that's something that Blizzard really takes into consideration.
To use the Magic the Gathering metaphor example, the first time you realize you can sign in blood your opponent for 2 to kill him is like the first time you realize that you can hex your own dude to keep yourself alive.
Yep.
Which
I've done that. I've hexed my own Manatide Totem, so I don't die to fatigue.
I've done that too. I mean, it's
hexed a totem just to get a defense out there because I didn't roll the 0/2 taunt.
I think honestly one of the first things I thought of, because I had Warrior in mind with Fiery War Axe, is as soon as I saw the hex thing, I just thought, oh, that's such a feel bad that I can't immediately respond to a Frothing Berserker. Because sometimes
that's relevant.
Yeah,
I didn't even think of that.
Instantly do that now. Like I've got a whole other turn.
Shit.
Yeah.
Does Frothing Berserker actually attack?
I mean, it typically
doesn't it just like soak up damage from anywhere and everywhere?
The dust.
I mean, it's a kill on sight, you know, but
but sometimes with token, if the guy coins out Frothing Berserker, that's on 2, but it's your 3. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Even if maybe the guy went second or first and he puts it out on 3, you might only have gone Firefly into the Murloc Totem, Primordial Totem. What is it? No.
Primal Fin.
Primal Fin. And you don't have enough power to get, even with a Maelstrom Portal, that's not enough damage, and you're just going to make it angrier.
Yeah, I just feel like that one turn, it makes me feel really panicky. It gives me this tight feeling in my chest now, because I'm like, there is a lot that can happen in that one turn. I'm sure you are, but
I'm not good with my opponent, Swashburglar, pulling a Tar Lord.
I can only expect that because they pulled Hex out of nowhere, that's why I feel Fiery War Axe was out of nowhere, too. It's for the future.
Yep, they know something we don't know.
There's something that's coming that's gonna be relevant.
Got one more. Probably...
Oh, yeah, one more or 2 more?
One more.
Innervate, Spreading Plague, Fiery War Axe. Oh, Hex.
Yep. And...
Man, I didn't realize how much these affected me until we started talking about
them. But you guys, I thought that aggro was going to be super good against Druid, now that Spreading Plague 6.
Murloc War Leader. So, after the patch, it's only going to grant 2 attack, not 2 attack, 1 health to all your other Murlocs.
I'm gonna dust my originals and craft Goldens. I'm gonna get full value for my dust on my regulars.
That's not a bad idea. I don't think I gave a lot of thought to it, to the health buff in the past.
It's huge.
But I think it's because I took it for granted.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, oh, getting that extra attack is going to be great. Plus, it's just this granted effect. Automatically, I'm like, oh, all my little 1/1 dudes are going to be fine now. Like, you know, unless he gets Spell Power Totem with his Maelstrom Portal. Like.
So, obviously, having the health allows you to trade favorably with their board and still deal damage. Like, if your Murloc's going to die to their board, you just pop him in the face and let him deal with it himself. Mm-hmm. The bigger issue as a diehard Murloc Paladin player in both iterations, the aggro and the anything can happen lists, like, it's the Murloc War Leader Tarim on turn 10. Because that makes all of your guys go to +2 attack, and they're 4 if they're Murlocs.
Right.
And that allows you to just wipe their board, and I just don't... Not having that health is gonna... I mean, it allows druids to swipe. It allows
That's
shamans
what hurts.
to Maelstrom Portal. It's huge,
Yep.
and I'm really sad about it.
It fits more with an aggro deck because you gotta risk it. You gotta risk it for the biscuit,
Gotta risk it for the biscuit.
and that's what you're doing. And in a way, Murloc Warleader took some of that sting out.
Yep.
But now
I
it's
think
like,
that's why I'm sad, is because now it's like, it's still, wow, that 2 attack, awesome. But that's more of an aggro thing, whereas me, I'm usually looking for some sort of extra survivability on my dudes and whatever, and so for me, it hurts. Because,
you gotta want to be aggro now.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, stop making me play aggro.
Did you see they were looking at the, what's the guy who gets +1/+1 to Murloc on the field already?
The Grime Street.
Rockpool Hunter?
Rockpool Hunter.
They said they were looking at Rockpool Hunter.
Oh,
and I think in the article they also said they were looking at another one. I can't remember what it was offhand.
Rockpool.
Since we're not
Was it the
looking
one
at
that gives all the
official
Murlocs 2/2 health? Or no, +2 health. That might have been what
No.
someone was speculating you
I
could
don't
do instead.
think so. There was in the original article on Battle.net they were talking about how they looked at a couple other ones. But regardless, rest in peace, Murloc Warleader. You're still going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But so now that we've gone over all of these, it's really ass backwards to me that Blizzard is attacking Druid and saying, okay, you can't ramp as well, and you can't defend against aggro as well, but then the 2 top aggro decks in the metagame, Pirate Warrior and Murloc Paladin, you're also fucked. So, are they just really trying to openly diversify? We had a pretty diverse meta in Un'Goro, so are they trying to crack that wide open so it's not? Because, if they just touched Druid, I still maintain with these Druid changes that you would still wind up being Murloc Paladin, Pirate Warrior, Jade Druid, and probably Secret Mage.
See, now you gotta take everything else into question. Is Hunter better now? They haven't changed any of its cards, but they also haven't negatively changed any of its cards. Is it better now? A Handlock. Is it better now?
How was your matchup with you've been playing a lot of Hunter? How was your matchup against Pirate Warrior, Murloc Paladin, Jade Druid? I'm not putting on the spot right now.
Well, to be honest, I've had so much success with that Hunter deck that the only thing that makes me cringe is Priest, and that's a whole different, can of worms. But, and it's gonna be
These changes are gonna allow for the rise of Priest. It's going to put Token Shaman up on tier 1 again, if it wasn't already. And Secret Mage's only bad matchup was probably
And itself. Secret Mage, let's be honest.
Sure.
Sometimes it beats itself. But, tangent real quick. If you haven't played Easy Big, Easy Priest,
oh god,
holy shit.
yeah, that deck's fun.
That is so much
I get
I
more
can't build
angry.
it.
I get more angry playing against that deck than I do Jade Druid.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
It makes me mad.
Bring back the Obsidian statue.
The bad
Bring
draws
back the
though.
Obsidian statue.
The bad draws. That deck sucks.
Yeah.
So
I hate it.
there was actually a game I was playing. I was playing Warlock. It's like this mix between Defile. Actually, it was basically Defile Warlock for all intents and purposes. But I was playing this deck against Big Priest, and to top it off, this was just yesterday. To top it off, I had Sinister spectating me because he needed his pack, and I was like, "Ah, shit!" That deck's so hard to deal with. And I managed to pull it out. I managed to go to, I think I put him at Fatigue, and I dealt with all his threats, and I took the game, and he was just like, well done. And I was like, oh yeah! That deck's hard to beat!
It's also,
It's
you
fun.
saw me, I walked away from the computer the other day, I was like, oh, he's just summoning more Obsidian statues.
Yep.
I came back, I was like, Obsidian statue? Oh, who's surprised? It's rage-inducing. But to answer your question about Hunter, I think that, yes, there's a good chance that the changes to Murloc Warleader and Fiery Warax are in my benefit.
Did you ever run into Spreading Plague a lot as a hunter?
Not a lot, but when I did, it was pretty problematic.
Escape
So-
and see.
It was like, unless I had Rexar in hand and had dudes so that I was able to
clear some of it.
Clear, at least part of it. Yeah, it was really rough. So I'm feeling really good about Hunter at the moment.
So we're seeing Hunter potentially coming up. Any sort of aggression being cut down on is going to mean that Warlock's coming up, Priest is coming up, Mage is definitely coming up. And for all we know, so it's going to be up in the air about whether Pirate Warrior or Murloc Paladin just kind of fall. But that effectively makes every class viable. Yeah. This increases the value of, like I said, of Evolved Shaman.
Yeah, Evolved Shaman's going to stay.
Jade Druid will still be a good deck.
Yep.
No doubt in my mind.
It'll just feel more fair to the people who are playing against it.
I feel like this is a batch of nerfs, in my opinion, that each one I'm able to look at and go, ooh, okay, alright, I get it, and together they seem to make a lot of sense. I feel like they kind of come full circle in a lot of ways. It is surprising because I wasn't expecting a couple of them, but I don't look at them and go, whoa, that's going to totally throw this out of whack.
It felt very heavy-handed, but I don't think it was heavy-handed.
These are all changes that I look at, and I think if I'm facing them down, every single one of these things coming down in the way we've discussed, I've been like, I just want to walk away from my computer. Pirate Warrior curving out perfectly well. Murloc Paladin getting everything out there, and then getting that War Leader and just ramming it home. Jade Druid just being able to do ridiculous things by turn 5 that I can't even keep up with. Hex is kind of the odd one out with that, but I guess it makes sense. It feels like these are changes that are done not necessarily to make the game more fair, but to make the game feel more fair.
Yeah,
which I think is healthy for the game when you get down to it.
And one thing that's to be said for these is Blizzard in the original article touches on the fact that they reiterate, thankfully, that they're not ever looking to move cards to Hall of Fame in the middle of a year. And B, that it seems to be implied, two things are implied. It seems to be that Murloc Warleader and Innervate are not necessarily on the chopping block to go to Hall of Fame because they instituted these changes. We've been playing the game for 3 years, so that's 3 years worth of those cards. But they've just changed them. We may not see them move for another couple years. But the other thing that's implied is that they were looking at changing Ice Block and decided not to. So use your Ice Blocks, because it looks like for a year of whatever is after the Mammoth, they're going to be in Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I would hope if they decided to do something like put Innervate, as a perfect example, into the Hall of Fame, that they would Hall of Fame it and they would return it to what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I hope.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what people have been crying for from Molten Giant. Mm-hmm. Is put it in Hall of Fame, make it 20.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to be really sad if that doesn't happen, because I don't feel like there's any reason not to do that.
And I think it might also come down to, so the cards that we did get Hall of Fame were Ragnaros, Azure Drake, and Sylvanas.
And Pio.
So, PoE, excuse me. Power Overwhelming being the exception to the rule, they were neutral cards.
And Dice.
I feel like they would rather change a classic class-specific card versus just Hall of Fame, because I could see a world where eventually...
So you mean basic?
Yeah, basic.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Excuse me, a basic card. They would rather nerf a basic
card. Because Fiery War Axe and Innervate are basics, and then and Hex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas if you Hall of Fame them, I could envision a world 20 years from now when there's no basic cards left in a certain class because they've all been Hall of Fame, and that's kind of, at that point, that class is teetered off of the ladder of equality in that way.
Someone mentioned on Twitter that they stated that basic classes weren't going to go to Hall of Fame. I didn't find confirmation of that myself, and I don't recall reading it in the original BattleNet article, so take that with a grain of salt, potentially. But I think it's tough to put a basic card in Hall of Fame.
So, as hard as it is to kind of deal with and think about with some of these, everyone's got their ones that it hurts them the most. I can't imagine what it must be like to have to be the one to make those decisions.
Oh, God.
Especially, and I have no reason to say that they don't, but to know how much people like Ben Brode and Youngwoo, people like that, love this game too. You're killing your babies, you know?
Well, how do you think it feels to someone like that card has been around so long and has been what it is for so long?
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt. I mean, for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people involved in the process, and you know, a lot of people who probably do feel like that is their baby, and to see something changed after this period of time, that those have gotta hurt them a lot.
Even less reason to give them shit.
Yeah, so stop giving them shit.
And take Ragnaros out of the Hall of Fame, please.
Never gonna happen. Not while Fire Plume's Hearts in Standard.
Yeah. What we should do is be like, you know, pull out a list. Okay, now here are the 10 changes you need to make. So they can just like start
here are our demands.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that about sums it up.
That's a fucking show.
Yeah.